And we're off like a herd of turtles.
Details, huh?
I do not know. But I like that statement. And we have departed like a herd of turtles, slowly.
Like a flock of cows.
So, where did we ride today, Jamie darling?
Ravenshoe,
Yes.
which is part of the York Forest. York Regional Forest, I believe.
About 50 minutes to 1 hour north of Toronto.
It's an all year round jobber because they have pretty good groomed fat bike trails in the winter as well. But one side is quite flat, the other side is a bit more hilly, I suppose.
The flat one being the Rudy, windy
yes.
one.
Stinky
Yep.
or whatever it is we started off on.
Don't start with stinky, end with stinky.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's too much for your brain when too much for my brain when you start. Because it's too narrow, twisty-turny, up and down, over roots, over trees, through tight gaps, across wooden skinnies, and straight out of the car, straight into riding is not. It's too much. So.
It would be just more enjoyable after a little warm-up. I had fun on it today, though, but I completely agree with you that you will have a better experience. Slightly warmed up.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Once you're in the zone.
So that's that. But the rest of the trails were okay, apart from me wiping out on a hidden tree stump that's been cut down to be
2 inches, 3 inches
exactly
out of the ground.
pedal height, which is excellent trail maintenance from the York Mountain Bike Club geniuses. So there was a guy in the car park who obviously, I think, rode there quite a lot, who pointed out the fact that we should be careful because of this phenomenon, and I did listen to what he said, and I did think about it, but I did think, really? And then found out by wiping out and landing in a heap that he was correct. So, although I only did it once, he did it 3 times. So I clearly wasn't trying as hard as he was. So that was that.
And there's a lot, it is worth mentioning because there are a lot of them. I was happy that man pointed that out to us because I was looking for them and I saw and dodged many, many, many of them. So thank you, Mr. Man, and we'll just pass that along to everyone else.
Yeah, I think it's spring as well, even though it's June, but it's so all the flora and fauna is kind of growing vigorously, and these little things are kind of lurking on the edge of the trail.
Oh, say it, these little bastards.
Yeah. And you can't see them, so in the winter it's not a problem, and I guess in the autumn they stand out a bit more, but I don't know, it was unpleasant, I guess is my thought on that, but...
Yes, but that aside, the trails on the whole...
I like Ravenshoe generally.
I do too. I really do.
You like it because of the name.
I love it because of the name. Of course I do. But once again, I'll just say lovely variety in terms of there's some good smooth, flowy, not crazy but hilly stuff. And then there's the Stinky Trail that is completely different and windy, twisty, turny, rooty, rocky, bridges, skinnies, quite a different experience.
It's definitely a workout, those flat, rooty trails.
Yeah.
So we generally ride every trail when we're there, and there's a map in the car park, you can see them. I think there's 6 different trails, and it depending on what we do as far as how much we go back and forth, it ends up being about 10 miles normally, and takes us takes us between an hour and 3 hours, depending on if we're mushroom collecting or not.
Good point.
So we had a few finds today, right at the start.
Yes.
Do you want to talk
Red
about
light,
those?
camera ahead.
Go on.
Stop. Sorry. We had a few finds today. Do you want to talk about those?
Sure. So I would say we are kind of the end of the season for Dryad Saddle. Pheasantbacks. So I didn't know if oysters would be out just quite yet, and oh yes, they were, and even some old ones. So straight away we found, and specifically lung oysters today.
Yeah.
Quite an abundance of them. It did just rain as well, so I was hopeful of mushrooms today, and so we saw, and those are quite easy to spot as well. I mean, they're a whitish cream color, so amongst the green and brown and beige, like, they stick out pretty well. But we also discovered a new mushroom that we have never collected today. Which, just while I was cutting some oysters, I said, hey Jamie, look over there, there's a couple huge mushrooms, and thinking, they were monstrous, that they were going to be nothing of interest. And then I hear Jamie saying, they're edible. What were they called again?
Can't remember right at this second. Platypus something. I'll put a link in the description to what they are, and I might use one as a thumbnail picture, but
cool.
Yeah, they're big. They're like a dinner plate size mushroom almost, or certainly a plate size mushroom. I mean, if you had a portobello
saucer?
Yeah.
Saucer size, if not bigger though.
If you wanted to have a portobello burger with them, you'd need to buy a very big bread roll to fit them in.
You would, good point.
But according to the information I read whilst being eaten myself by mosquitoes in the woods, they are exceptional with garlic and butter.
Most mushrooms are.
And people keep coming back for them, but we'll see. We'll do a
spore print?
Yes, to make sure that they're not something else.
Yes. I would say, based on what we have read and identified and matched for key characteristics, we are like 99% sure that we have, identified correctly?
Yeah, we just, the spore.
So always we do the spore print as the final security test.
Yeah, we'll do the spore print. We have a couple of pretty good books that we use, so we'll do those things to make sure.
Yep.
To make sure that they are what we think they are. And then I was just going to say on the oysters, once you've understood what an oyster mushroom looks like, you can't really get it wrong, because they're pretty much all edible, I think.
Don't mark our words on that. Don't mess about with mushrooms.
But
is always the general warning. Be double check, triple check, make sure.
Do spore print. Ask advice.
Spore print is always I think the safest, last solid check to do.
But a good starter to learn is an oyster, because I've never found an oyster that you can't eat. So
yeah, many varieties, pretty easy to identify. Usually an abundance of them, big enough that they're easy to
manhandle and deal with. So so they're excellent. What else did you want to say about your ride today?
I was also just going to say nice variety of trees, and not just trees though too. Like, what are those? I still don't know what those green things are. That
the little
reed
type things.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like mini bamboo kind of. Lots of those. It's just nice that it kind of changes as you're going through, and it's refreshing.
I like it because it's open, and then it's like broadleaf deciduous trees, and then you're in conifer forest, and then you're back in a bit more open, and then yeah, it's that constant changing that I like a lot, actually.
Yeah, keeps it interesting, and I don't know, maybe even makes it feel more spacious than it actually is. Like,
yeah. So we did that today at Ravenshoe, and then we decided to give another ice cream stop a try, and we went to the, what's it called?
The coolest little ice cream shop.
We don't know whether
literally
that's
the name of it.
in the world, in Ontario, in Toronto, probably just in the little town. But
and there's only 2 things that exist in the little town.
But they had a reasonable selection of flavours,
Yeah,
I
they
think.
did. They were quite friendly.
Bit measly on the scoops, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think that was reflected in the price.
No, I didn't see how much it was, even though I paid for it.
I think it was $2 a scoop, so $4 for a double, but they were child-sized
Actually, that's
scoops.
not too bad, though, because in Toronto that would be $10 each, right?
And I do plan on having a bit of a feast tonight, so I'm not...
too concerned.
Yeah, they did me a solid, if anything.
Yeah, so we went there. It's got little tables and chairs and a place to park if you've got bikes on the back, so you can keep an eye on them.
Yeah, that's key.
I think they do coffee and stuff as well.
It's a whole little, like, convenience store, candy store / gift shop. We found a couple of silly stickers that were, only $1.
No.
Fact, bears eat beets.
There you go. No washrooms, though.
Yeah.
So if you're desperate for a pee, you better find a tree.
That's a great line.
Save 6 minutes via Don Valley Parkway South.
So the other thing I just thought to mention is that it's right on this little lake called Musselman Lake, and it was just it was a sweet, quiet spot to sit, and you can kind of see the lake a little bit, but I figured on a hot day, if you wanted to, you could probably go take a dip. It was worth maybe 20 minutes, sort of on the way back to Toronto, but a little bit out of the way. It was pleasant.
Yeah, to be honest, it keeps you off the highway for a little bit, so it's a nice road, that road from Ravenshoe to the ice cream shop. So.
Yeah, a pleasant detour.
Yeah, I would say so. I will put the address and details for the ice cream shop in the description as well, just in case you want to go there. And I will also put the link to the car park that we park in when we go to Ravenshoe. There's 2.
Right.
One is busy and on the busier road and always full of mountain bikers. If that's your thing, that's fine. I go to the other one, which is never full of mountain bikers. There's often the odd rider and is away from the highway. So when you come back, if you want to hang out for a bit, it's a bit quieter. So,
yeah.
That's me done, I think.
Yeah, I am pooped. Jamie murdered me on the last section of trail, and felt like some kind of cartoon character trying to keep up to you and chase you there. Jeez Louise. Yep, I'm thank you, Ravenshoe. I'm properly tuckered out and satisfied.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, till next time.
Over and out.